Hi guys. I'm recording this video at the end of May 2023. And like so many people, I have gone through not such nice times. 2020, 2021, 2022, they were all bitches. This was not nice times. A lot of things happened, from COVID to a financial downturn, from trouble in my marriage to indeed now my wife and me separating. So a lot of things have occurred, and needless to say, they were quite hard challenges. So here I am, 9 years into my sobriety, and thinking, yeah, I've got it all sorted. When ultimately, actually, I did not. And so, hand on heart, I actually had a relapse. I actually had, over a period of about 2 months, I had about 12 bottles of wine. Now, that's not just a lapse. That's not just one slip. No, this goes along with all the behavior of hiding your things, hiding that you buy it, hiding the alcohol, hiding that you're drinking it, hiding that you're maybe a bit drunk. So I had fallen back into the same rut. And that was just weird. That's just plain weird. Now, I decided to make this video to actually break it all down into small parts and actually see what has happened so that you guys can learn out of it. And it is very much the truth that a relapse happens many months before you actually grab a bottle or grab your Colombian marching powder or whatever your choice is. And again, in with my life, I've tried to really get my shit together, try to get this work-life balance. Although that is hard when there are financial strains there, when maybe you had done some investments that didn't really pan out so well, when there is marital friction. Now, I've often been saying in my show that it's very hard for me to have a fight with my wife because we have learned to communicate. Well, turns out we were not so good in actually communicating, because ultimately in our relationship we have drifted apart, and we've come to a point where it is challenging to remain together. So here I am, age 56, having lost a partner who I thought I had for life, having finding myself in a situation where I've lost a lot of money because we've split our wealth. So that little bit that we had is pretty much divvied up. And here I am, so wrong side of 50. All these thoughts of, will I ever find love again? Will I ever be happy again? Well, all those kind of things. So you can imagine there was quite a temptation for me not just to be the survivor, but actually fall back into the victim modality. And I became that victim for a short period of time. And it was an intriguing feeling. So I certainly, it was in such a victim mode that I thought, oh, fuck it, I might as well have a glass of wine. And I did. And it was intriguing. It was an intriguing experience because the alcohol helped me to a degree to escape my reality. That's what it does. And it did that actually quite well. Initially, maybe not so much. And then the second and third time, oh, okay, suddenly I was feeling joy, I was feeling escapism, I was having a good time, I was on YouTube and listening to music and doing all those kind of things that I found that made me laugh, that made me feel good. So it was actually quite bizarre. So but then again, you always, when you drink, you always you get some energy, but you steal it from the next day. So whilst I might had 2 hours, 3 hours of love and escapism, the next day you feel like shit, and therefore, you traded 12 hours for 3 hours. That's not a good deal wherever you come from. So yeah, it was clear to me that really something is odd here. Something is wrong here, Stefan. You're running a bloody show on sobriety. You've written you've written actually a book about it. And here you are drinking. What the hell? So it was clear I needed to do something. I needed to work through that. And you always think, well, okay, what causes that? You clearly haven't looked after yourself. You're either hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Well, hungry, not in the physical sense, because I always try to eat very healthy. This year I've started a functional medicine diploma, so I'm very protective of my gut, so to speak. So yes, hungry, probably not. Angry, not really. Anger was not really a main emotion. It was more frustration. That was something I figured out later. So not hungry, not angry, lonely, yeah. And tired. Well, yes, I've been working long hours, hard hours, but at the same token, was I tired? Not so much. I was actually quite happy to get up in the morning. I was quite happy, and it's quite interesting, happy. So you always think as a doctor, oh my God, am I depressed? Is my post-traumatic stress playing up? So I actually did the tests. So they are formalized tests, how you can test if you are depressed. And I scored exceptionally low. I thought, okay, hand on heart, that's not depression. And I thought, okay, come on, so much trauma. It clearly must be that somehow the current trauma is somehow, making some other programs from the past running again in your head. So this was sort of my closest guess what was happening. But ultimately, I realized one way or the other, I can't tackle that alone. I need some help. So as it so happens, I had 375 guests, many of which are excellent coaches, excellent people who help others who are in trouble. So it was just a matter of actually picking and giving an educated guess who might actually be the appropriate person. Now, on the one hand, I had the suspicion that it was the trauma, post-traumatic stress, etc., and the current trauma. So I needed a trauma-focused approach. But on the other hand, I realized, well, hang on, there are still some programs running up there below my consciousness that are just setting me up to fail. So I went both roads. So I, again and again, what I say in my book, and again, what I suggest with my guests, put a power team together where you are the dumbest person in the team. And that's exactly what I did. So I went down two routes, the more trauma-focused and more a kind of programming-focused things. And both of these quickly brought results. And it was amazing because it was not what I necessarily expected. Now, a good coach or a good psychologist or a good whoever will ask you the right questions. And your brain actually knows the answers, but it doesn't know it there then, because if you had known it, then you would have done it. You would have not fallen into the trap of a relapse or whatever behavior you have chosen. So both of these people asked me questions where I ended up, where they forced me to quickly say an answer and to a particular question. One of them asked me, okay, what do you want to get out of this meeting here? And what came out was joy. And I thought, where's that coming from? And that happened on a number of occasions with both of these people. A number of questions triggered this aha moment. And very soon it became clear to me that I was just trapped in such a rut of survivalism, negativity, of trying to focus so hard on making it all work, being there for everyone and just not for yourself. Even although I thought I was, that was the big breakthrough, and that was amazing. But I couldn't have done that alone, so I needed the other people to ask me those questions so that I became clear what is actually going on in my head. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And that was so beautiful. That was so fantastic because it actually made me realize, okay, there is growth here. You've just had a major breakthrough because whilst you had been dreaming, whilst you had been doing those things, they were perceived somehow negative. In one of the last drinking sessions, I actually made a point of putting a whiteboard there and some markers. And whilst I was having a good time, I wrote down the dreams, the goals that drunk me had. And here they are. I wanted to sing like Meatloaf. I wanted to fight like Keanu Reeves in John Wick. And I wanted to dance like a god with Emmeline. So here you go. And this is true deep inner me now coming out. Now, when I looked at that the next day, man, that was me when I was 25, when I was 20. Here's some pictures to prove that, I did some of these things. But my goodness, here I am. And yet, whilst I had the opportunity to actually do some of those things now, they didn't tempt me. On the contrary, I shied actually away from training those things. And I thought, why the hell? What is actually going on? So not only had I figured out that I wanted joy in my life, yet those things that I actually had now identified as giving me joy, I had pushed away from me. So how does that work? And then I realized that I'm a bloody perfectionist. And that's quite good as a doctor. If 100% of your patients survive as an anesthetist, that's actually the minimum, you hope. So perfectionism in my job, I like. But perfectionism, when it comes to creating joy, and that was what I realized. I had a few injuries over the recent, 2 years. So I was on and off training. And it was frustrating. If you don't shoot for 2 months, well, guess what? You don't hit the target so well. And if you don't practice your martial arts, well, guess what? I don't need to go there. And dancing, oh my goodness, I had not danced forever. And singing, I don't know. I had lost maybe the willingness to do so. I don't know. Maybe I was getting too inhibited. Whatever it was. So I realized, hang on, there's something seriously wrong here. And once that breakthrough had occurred, I suddenly realized, you know what? Why not actually do those things? Will I ever sing like Meatloaf? Nah. Will I ever dance with Emily and Rochefort? Maybe. Who knows? Will I ever meet Keanu Reeves? Who knows? So Emily and Keanu, if you're ever here in our neck of the woods, just knock on the door. You're there. And if you guys now, by accident, walk past my house and you hear strange sounds, no, please don't call the Catholic Church. You don't need an exorcism, and there is no exorcism actually occurring in the house. That's me singing Meatloaf. And equally, if you look in and you see me doing very funky movements, no, I don't have an epileptic fit. No, that's me dancing. Okay? I might not be perfect, but I've found that this is the joy that I was missing. And guess what? I also realized I don't need the alcohol for it. And that was a beautiful, beautiful breakthrough. So in summary, I had a relapse. I realized I can't do it alone. And I think that is the key thing. When something like that happens, you need to figure out what has occurred, start with hold, and then go back to those people who have helped you in the past. Or if you're now in a scenario where you actually get infused by what I'm saying, oh, enough is enough, then start to build your power team, find your tribe. The 12-step programs are wonderful. They have helped me hugely. Having said that, right now they didn't really fit so well to deal with that, but they armed me with a certain knowledge, certain baseline on which to work. And so that is a great way forward. Your GP, your family physician, go see them and ask them questions, because there might be resources there that you don't know about. If you think, nah, I don't want to have any 12 steps, etc., there are many other systems out there that are fantastic. So, for example, look up Stefan Neff, but not the way I'm written with a PH, but with an F, because I had Stefan Neff from Canada on my show. Stefan Neff is like me, was rather fond of his alcohol, but he is now running a far more science-approached way of helping people to get rid of the alcohol. So there are religious programs there. Whatever it is that works for you, there is help out there. So I think that's the key thing. Otherwise, go back through my interviews, because there have been some fantastic coaches there. And indeed, I mean, one of them I used to help me with the reprogramming up there. And the trauma-focused approach, luckily I was able to do so here in Rotorua. Both of them were invaluable. They were just amazing and helped me to break through. So it was a beautiful experience. Not necessarily something I want to recommend anyone to do, but if you have a relapse, then actually this is time to grow. You are about to have a breakthrough, and that is fantastic. And in this case, healing came in layers. So there was not one breakthrough, but there were actually 3 little ones, or probably more little ones, over a period of a few weeks, and to a point where I can say, wow, what a ride. Okay, this was a roller coaster, and one of the mean kind. But I'm here, and no, I don't need the alcohol anymore. But on the contrary, I've gained such an insight in what I need to do and what I want to do. And it's now Sunday evening, and actually, of all those things that I said, that I pointed to, I did all of them this weekend. So I sung for probably 4 hours yesterday whilst I was doing chores. I see again, chores. Yeah, I didn't. Yes, I ticked off things in the house and in the garden, but I did so in a sportive way. So I actually did some exercise. I danced intermittently. I sang to Meatloaf, and I had a great time. That is joy. No, was I doing the perfect moves? Hell no. Was I hitting the tone all the time? Hell no. But I had fun. I had joy. I had found again what I was missing. And that is beautiful. So am I upset about that relapse? Do I feel shame or guilt? None whatsoever. And because I'm realizing how much it has helped me. And whilst it was maybe 2 steps back, I actually went 5 steps forward overall. So I'm really, really pleased about that. So that's very true. What else can I say? I mean, yeah, why am I saying that here? I mean, after all, you could ask, well, hang on, Stefan, you're a doctor. Oh, you can't just say those things. Well, yes, you do, because you're transparent. You show integrity. You are there. You show humility. And that is what the key things, the key attributes of a man, of a woman, of a human being. Doesn't matter what your gender is. So these are the things that I want to live by. And therefore I thought, no, I'll do this video here, and to show that I'm not foolproof, that there are new challenges, and that life is a bit like a video game. So, a shoot 'em up game, first person kind of fighting game. So, yes, you have done your 5 levels and you've beaten all the zombies down there and a bit more stronger zombies up there. And then the door opens and you think, oh, God, that's a big zombie. Okay, so new challenge, new parameters, new circumstances. And that's what life is all about. You can't do it all yourself. That's again something I've learned, and I was so lucky because I met so many wonderful people, and I'm in contact with so many wonderful people. So people who have made it their way of life to live a better life. So therefore, I was able to quickly tap into that, and you can do so too. Okay, this is a beautiful life out there. It comes with challenges, but remember, to beat a diamond, you need huge amounts of pressure. Okay, and guys, it is worthwhile persevering. I had at times I doubted myself over the last 2 years because just one wave of shit came after the other. But now I know that even those prolonged waves of shit, those tsunamis, really, even they will pass, and that's actually a really nice feeling. When you come out the other end and you think, okay, upwards and onwards, dust yourself off, and a new way of life is appearing. In my case, a life that puts a smile on my face, and where there is loud music playing in my house and me laughing, and whilst I'm preparing some yummy food. So life is good. Guys, look after yourself.